It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Tuesday, October the 24th. Good morning. Very glad to be with you. Sometimes life presents us with quandaries.
Yeah.
Moments in time where you make decisions. We are the sum total of our decisions and choices, correct?
That's what they say.
If I gave you the choice, if I put it to you, Vikings fans, we can win games, but we have to listen to Creed to do it. Where do you sit on that? Is it worth it? Is it a coin toss? Or do you say, no, let's just embrace Creed?
I'll embrace Creed, man.
All right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like Dad used to always say, if you can't get out of it, get into it. And I'll download some Creed to my MP3 playlist if that's what it takes.
Let me tell you something. If you had told me that playing Creed would make Kirk Cousins pretty great on 3rd and long against the Niners all night long, I would have been like, well, I'd have to believe it. I have to see it to believe it.
I think it's more than Creed. I think it's Tony's little jam for him yesterday that
Tony's
really
number?
pumped him up.
Yeah, I think you might have something there. Let's go post-game. We'll just jump right to the juicy sound bites we have from you post-game. The Vikings' big win last night. And this is Kirk Cousins calling it out.
Big to get a win, and I got to say it, Creed. I mean, I'm getting my ankles taped pregame because I try to get them taped as late as possible, and I'm sitting there on the table, and suddenly it comes on, and Garrett Bradbury's doing some body work next to me, and he goes, "Forget this, I got to go enjoy this with the boys." So he then gets up and goes in the locker room, and I get my ankles taped, and we go in there. It's really good morale, and then we go to pray in the corner of the locker room, and any guys that want to pray, and we go prayer, over here, and so we had to turn the Creed off. And Harrison Smith made a great point. He said, "Guys, this is the prayer." And I thought that's pretty good. So, yeah.
Wow.
We'll keep playing, but they keep playing higher, and I'm going. Creed has a lot of hits. They got a good catalog. They don't have to only play higher, but they're taking us higher, so we'll take it.
Oh my God!
Taking us higher.
Wait, hang on. They got a lot of hits, guys. We don't have to just do this.
We have to Google that.
I can tell you this before the game. Again, if you said Cousins is going to go 7 for 11 on 3rd down, throw 183 yards on 3rd down, and not get sacked once, I would say I might get a Creed tattoo.
He looked spectacular.
And I'm saying this as, okay, look, I'm not a Vikings. I'm not trying to act like I'm, purple and gold blood flowing through my veins here, but I live here now, and like I said this January. Look, I'm a Titans fan, but this is NFC. I don't have a team. I will happily get on these Vikings. And I'm texting with people who were at the game last night, and they're just saying things like, "Oh, come on, man, there's no way. We're just here for the good time. You're too optimistic." And I'm saying, "Oh yeah, in your face. Let's go." A little bit of why not us? Because I look at the Vikings schedule, and I look at Justin Jefferson coming back in a few weeks, and the 10 remaining games. I say this sincerely, assuming they figured out that protecting the ball is kind of cool. This is a 7-3, 8-2 run with just as easily as the season started 3-4 when it shouldn't have.
Well, if you win the turnover battle, which it wasn't pretty last night, they did. Their red zone is as ugly as it has been all season, but they still get the win. But you talked about protect the ball, protect Cousins. When this guy, we've talked about it before, when this guy does not have pressure on him, he is an elite quarterback. Someone's going to eventually get to him, but
the fact that it didn't happen last night, Joey Bosa did not get to him last night. The offensive line, not a perfect performance by a long stretch, but obviously did just enough. And then the credit to Flores. That defense is better every week. But to your point, Zep, a couple times he got pressed. A couple times, some decisions were like, oh God, and we got away with a couple that maybe should have been picks. But that's the game. They didn't happen last night, and you got the win.
You talked about some fans who were texting back and forth at the game. Just nuts last night. Coach O'Connell starts his post-game comments.
I just want to start out and commend our fans. I thought this building was unbelievable tonight. Our fans never cease to amaze me how they can transform this building into such an unbelievable home field advantage. And we had talked a lot about trying to play the type of performance that they deserved. And, incredible atmosphere tonight. I'm so proud of our football team.
Yeah, and then on talking about how the football team's kind of turning around here. But, I think don't we have to go back to Cousins and Creed this morning, right into Tony's tune.
I will say about O'Connell, he looks hotter when he's mad. There was some point in the first half where
the intensity that turns
really
you on.
something happened.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
lowered
Yeah,
it.
they missed a chance for a TD, and they immediately cut to an extreme close-up
Yes.
on
Yes.
O'Connell, and he
F-word.
dropped the F-bomb. Oh, so clear.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what fans look like when he mismanages the clock again under 5 minutes. This guy needs to take a class on clock management, I think. down
He
the
does.
stretch.
He does. When he works the room blue, it's like in 1 second he goes from Beaver Cleaver to Lumpy Rutherford, just like that. Well, hey man, let's all take a knee. Let's listen, Tony. Let's rock out and in celebration of the big win, the turnaround last night.
They played Creed in the weight room today, and today was a good day.
It's always a good day. Here it is. Packers next week win. Falcons win. Saints win. Broncos win. Bears win. Raiders win. Bengals win. Lions, Packers, Lions finish out on 3 straight. That's 13-4 again.
13-4. Yeah, it's obvious they're going to. They're right through to the Super Bowl.
I think what this fan base is missing is some absolutely ass backward blind optimism, and I'm just the guy to bring it to us.
So, yeah.
13-4.
We'll keep playing, but they keep playing higher, and I'm going, Creed has a lot of hits. They
Yeah, they
keep playing higher.
do. You're
Only
damn
play
straight
higher,
they do,
but
Kirkus
They're taking us
Cousins.
higher, so we'll take it.
We'll take it.
Come on, man. That's fantastic. I'm going to be hearing that horn for 10 straight wins. All right.
All right, well,
There we go.
We're digging it this morning. The man that used to drive Sonny Bono and Cher. We'll check in with a Hollywood report here at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, October the 24th. It is time to go out west. It's the one-man yaller horn, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. I don't care if it's the Oakdale Cinema, the Southbridge Crossing Cinema, the Rosemont Cinema. I don't care where you go today, but today's the day. Today is Tuesday. Today is Marcus Theater, proud to announce another Value Tuesday, $6 to see any movie. Check it out. But be wide awake when you go to the theaters, because I'll tell you, you go to the theaters and you sit down on those lounge recliners.
Oh, yeah.
You're liable to go to sleep.
Yeah, you are.
Just want to make sure of
Especially
that.
if you get a cocktail out inside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're serving all kinds of hooch at the Marcus.
They are.
They probably don't like me saying that.
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How about them Vikings?
That's what I'm saying, Mike Evans.
Boy, I had a lot of West Coast people going, Vikings, 49ers are going to kill the Vikings. A lot of people go, 7 points. I'm all over that. I don't know if some people have made some big bets on the 49ers last night.
You're talking to someone who went the other way and cashed in large, but I don't want to gloat or brag or anything.
But go ahead.
But I have proof that we can discuss off air.
I love it. Well, finally, Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me, drops today. You know, actually, it has some very shocking parts of the book. Besides the Timberlake abortion, Britney talks about her first sexual experience when she was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. She goes into detail about other affairs with other celebrities. Boy, she does not hold back about the hatred for her father and how she feared for her life when she was under the conservatorship. And then there are the drugs and a lot more. 3 out of 4 stars for Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me, drops today.
What do you think the most important job for a parent is? Probably somewhere near the top of the list has to be protecting your kids, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a miracle she's alive.
Yeah.
And even within realm of sanity. I can't stand her father either. I don't know a thing about him.
Odds and ends, the media is eating up this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce romance. But more interesting to me is the close friendship between Brittany Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' wife, and Taylor Swift. Now, they high-five each other when one of their guys makes a big play, but I've especially noticed the way they do chest bumps after touchdowns.
They're excitable. They're watching their guys go out there and plunder
I've never
defenses.
seen women do chest bumps.
Hey, man, I've never seen anybody do half the crap Taylor Swift does.
I just thought kind of curious. Spotted at the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin, Texas on Saturday. That was Prince Harry trying to hang a low profile as he was partying like a big dog and drinking and laughing and flirting, have a great old time. Noticeably absent was Meghan. She was not there.
Yeah, well, you said he was having fun, so I assume that.
Exactly, yeah. Jennifer Lopez is a semi-regular drive-through customer at the McDonald's by her house in Pacific Palisades. Steve knows this, but in case you're wondering, Pacific Palisades is between Malibu and Beverly Hills.
Lovely, lovely little area.
Yeah, that's great. She always wears sunglasses, has no makeup on, a hat, keeping it on the down low. But she was recently recognized, and employees tipped off the paparazzi who have been stalking the place out to get a picture of J-Lo. And when she pulled up the next time, J-Lo, furious, flipped off the paparazzi and the McDonald's drive-through employees.
Classic.
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you give me everything I want?
Yeah,
which is to be noticed at McDonald's.
What a difference Madonna used to end her live concerts by stripping off a few clothes and throwing them into the audience.
Okay.
But at her concert last week, the 65-year-old Madonna ended the concert by calling 5 of her 6 children up on stage and hugging and kissing them and talking about them.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's different. Netflix purchased the Egyptian Theater on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood.
Wow.
In 2020. It has not been fully really used because of the extensive repairs. However, the Egyptian Theater will reopen next month. It'll be used all the time for all kinds of things. What a great theater. I mean, built in 1922, the first real Hollywood theater, the original home of the Oscars. Have you been to the Egyptian?
I haven't, but I got to think that Netflix, they're not really concerned with budgeting. I'm sure they went crazy with the rehab.
Oh, they did. And Kelly Clarkson is taking a pay cut of her own choosing, saying that she wants out of Los Angeles, moving her show to New York City. Kelly says, I don't know the reason for this. She simply had enough of Los Angeles and wants out.
Okay. And it's cheaper to go to New York?
That's what I'm thinking. Wait, from the fire to the frying pan?
Oh, wait, you said she's taking a pay cut. That's probably because it's more expensive in New York.
Maybe so.
All right.
No.
Glad we can work that out.
Everybody excited? Still talking about the Vikings, huh?
Oh, dude, look at their schedule. They're about to go on a historic tear. They figured it all out. They realized that fumbling the ball is not the way to success. They protect the ball now. Right. It's all. I'm already booking playoff tickets, man.
Wow.
Goals in the red zone.
Rangers, who are they going to play? Phillies, or are they going to play the Diamondbacks?
Oh, Phillies, man. Bryce Harper's a Godzilla out there right now.
Yeah, I hope so. I hate the Diamondbacks.
Okay, well.
And I love the Rangers. I mean, I don't know if I love the Rangers or I just hate the Astros. I haven't figured that out.
No one loves the Rangers. I have friends in Dallas that think they love the Rangers, and I tell them all the time, no, you don't. Stop it.
But you can't love the Astros.
No. Oh, God, no, of course. No, I'm saying no one loves the Rangers, but everyone hates the Astros.
There you go.
It comes out in the wash.
Hey, have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.
Right on, Mike Evans. Thank you, sir. There's your Tuesday report from Mike Evans, the man who says Tuesday except on Tuesdays when he says Tuesday. I'll never understand it.
Hey, it's not to be understood.
I guess not at this stage of the game. Boy, that was fun last night. I got to tell you. And again, I'm just going to reiterate to my lifelong Vikings friends / fans / long suffering. Just lean in to believing that this team's going to run off 10 straight wins. It's more fun that way. If they lose, yeah, okay, but you have 6 days before the next game to just convince yourself they're going to win every game. It's way easier like that. It's just complete blind lying to yourself. It's fun.
Hey, look at this guy over here with no scars on his heart.
That's exactly right. That's right. I'm fresh. I'm new. And you know what? We're all gonna be in the same place in February, but I'm going to enjoy the ride more. Because I'm going to convince myself every time, much like my Powerball ticket from last night. Haven't checked it yet. Pretty sure I won.
Yeah, you did.
That's how
won
it
the
goes.
Powerball, and the Vikes are going to put a Lombardi trophy in the case.
Powerball win for let's do this right now, okay? I'm going to ask everyone honestly: $10 million or a Vikings Super Bowl win? Candace, what are you picking?
Oh gosh, Steve, I just don't know.
The Twin Cities are listening, dear.
You know what?
Take the money.
Yeah, I'm going to take the money.
Okay, just making sure. I thought you were going to lean into the
my
friends, lifelong.
Money isn't everything.
Neither's someone else winning a Super Bowl.
Hell, I'd take a couple of $100 over a Viking Super Bowl.
Oh, boy. Tony?
I will take the money and I will pay my actor friends to act out a Vikings Super Bowl win.
See? There you go.
Create.
I like it. Let's look back. It's time for a history lesson.
I like sports.
You think I'm crazy, but I know music.
And who are you? Gorman. And I'm going to teach you a lesson that you're never going to forget.
Sports history, October 24th. Speaking of the scars on my heart, Brian Zepp, on this day in 1996, the Atlanta Braves played their final game at Fulton County Stadium. They lost in Game 5 of the World Series to the New York Yankees, 1-0. It was one of the drunkest post games of my life. I was so devastated. I didn't know you could drink that much Rolling Rock in the final 3 innings of a game. It was a painful lesson I learned. The Braves began next season, 97, playing at the Olympic Stadium. The 96 Summer Olympics, the stadium was built to host the Olympics and then be converted to Turner Field for the Braves. The Braves, the Braves in 97 moved to their brand new ballpark, which they didn't pay for, and they still raised ticket prices 35%. That's when I said, I think I'm off the Braves bandwagon.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, October the 24th. Good morning. Can I get a Viking stinking horn? Ooh. Lay it on me, baby. It's pretty good there, Candace.
Yeah.
That's not quite as good as your loon.
There it is.
Oh, my God. That sounds just like it, Candace. Holy smokes. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-4, but that's a pretty exciting 3-4 after last night's win on Monday Night Football over the giant San Francisco 49ers of the NFC. That's a really good football team we beat last night. Now, Deebo Samuel was not on the field, but injuries are a part of the game. The fact of the matter is, the Vikings had a very un-Viking-like performance. They protected the ball. More importantly, they protected Kirk Cousins. 0 sacks for a great defense in San Francisco. What's his name? Joey Bosa. No sacks. He's been sacking people like crazy this entire season. I'm sorry. I said Joey. I meant Nick Bosa. He's got 3 sacks already, but that team has got almost double-digit sacks or over double-digit sacks, and none last night. Huge turnout for the offensive line. And then, of course, Justin Jefferson sitting on the sideline cheering on his comrades. Jordan Addison, nice coming-out party for the national audience.
Yeah,
Holy smokes, that rookie.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns, I think, so far this season.
Yeah.
Nearly the fastest rookie to make it to 6 touchdowns already in this many games.
Along with Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, here he is talking about that first touchdown. They didn't have a chance.
First touchdown, down the middle. I had a linebacker on me, and then as soon as I turned around, the ball was there, and I just gave late hands. Like, when a linebacker covered me, that's like a fish out of water, so he don't really know what's going on.
He didn't know what's going on, no.
Yeah, okay, that linebacker's not a rookie, and he remembers that for the rest of his career, by the way. Watch out next time you play. Number 57 is sitting back in the Bay Area right now going, I'm going to kill that kid one of these days.
Across the middle. How about Cam Bynum coming up? Not only with the 2 picks, one late in the game, but involved in that fumble earlier as well. Here he is talking about that second pick where he climbed the ladder.
Honestly, thought I got a illegal contact downfield. I kind of hit the receiver a little, but I jumped a little early, like the play against the Chiefs, and I thought I didn't know if I was going to get up there, but thankfully I was able to get the pick and really shut it down for the whole game and really make it a movie. I keep saying movie, but that's the best ending, and you can't imagine it. I'm just so grateful, and it was a fun game.
There you go. The Vikes are making a movie.
Don't overlook the fact that he laid down that worm celebration.
The worm.
Oh my God, it was incredible. Clears the field, runs away from the whole pack to get plenty of isolation, and goes into the full worm.
A couple players tried to do it too, but that did not capture it.
No, didn't quite have the magic. Bynum, as you said, with 2 picks on Brock Purdy, who everybody's been trying to crown as like, oh my God, this kid's like an MVP candidate. No, he's not. He's a good quarterback. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. But last night he showed his fallibility, 21 of 30, 2 interceptions and only 1 touchdown on the night. Kirk Cousins, how about that? 378 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick. The power of Scott Stapp and the boys from Creed, yet again on full display, this time for a national audience. The Vikings, looking ahead, they have 3 night games in their final 10 games. I'm looking at the schedule. I see a 7:20, a 7:15, and another 7:20 that the world will be tuning into. One of those is at Denver And the Broncos are a grease fire, but at the same time, Monday night is Monday night, and altitude is altitude. That's going to be a tougher game than a lot of people think. But right now, if you look forward, 10 games remaining, I'm calling my shot. The Vikings go 7-3.
Yeah.
I said earlier 10-0. I was just kidding, but I honestly think that this team is. I'll be surprised if they don't, because I'm just going to say I can't jinx them. They're not listening. That's not how the world actually works. As a superstitious sports fan my whole life, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I can't. The fumbleitis and all that crap, once you lock it down, Robert Smith says it's one of those things that you can't explain it, but they'll turn the corner and then suddenly it'll be like, hey, we haven't fumbled in 4 games. That's how football works. If they protect the ball, 7-3 is a very realistic expectation looking at that schedule.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's conceivable at the start of the season that they would start the season 4-1. So, I mean, but listen, a team that doesn't score twice. We talked about red zone, but within the 2-yard line. I mean, that's not red zone. That's in the gimme zone practically. Yeah. And you come away with a couple of field goals.
They definitely got to tighten the screws on that red zone offense. I mean, they got to come up with some. They've got some really great. I mean, some inventive offense. Obviously, they need to figure that part out, because at some point a couple times in the game, I found myself saying they'd be at the 30-yard line, and I'm like, come on, score from here. Let's just whip that ball downfield, Kirk, find somebody. Like the Addison touchdown where he was talking about beating the linebacker. Yeah. That's the way you want to do it. Be at the 25-yard line. Don't be at the 5.
Yeah, and you protect Cousins, and the guy can put the ball on the money. When he's feeling comfortable in the pocket, he makes the plays. Kevin O'Connell, our coach, talking about the fans.
I just want to start out and commend our fans. I thought this building was unbelievable tonight. Our fans never cease to amaze me how they can transform this building into such an unbelievable home field advantage. And we had talked a lot about trying to play the type of performance that they deserved. And, incredible.
Yeah, well, and it's going to make a guy gassy. He gets excited.
It's incredibly excited.
Whatever. I'm happy he's happy, but get mad, O'Connell. Come on, get mad again.
Candace is all about hot O'Connell. Hot under the collar means hot on that face, boy. Come on. Again, the main thing to me is I think nationally what you'd see. I'll say this: if I were back in Nashville, if I hadn't come to Minneapolis, I would have watched that game, and everybody I bumped into today would have said, "What's up with that Addison kid?" That was one of those games. Mm-hmm. And he looks great doing it. The first touchdown that looked like it was going to be his second touchdown that looked like it was going to be the second interception from the same DB that got him in the first quarter. Right before half, he catches that ball. He and a DB catch the ball together just past midfield. Addison rips it away from him and runs in untouched for the touchdown. That's the kind of play everybody else is talking about. You know what I mean? That's not just Vikings fans going, hey, this kid's special. It's little things like that go a long way towards building a kid's national profile. And with Jefferson on the sidelines, this is one of those things, man. It's going to turn out quite likely to be the best thing that ever happened to the Vikings. Is you lose JJ for 4 or 5 games, then he comes back and they figured out how to work without him, put him back in, and now Addison's that much better. And that rookie learning curve is so steep. Seriously, it bodes well. I'm not talking myself into something. I've just watched a lot of football, and this is how these things can fall into place. If the defense continues to improve and they protect the ball, listen to me. I got to get off my soapbox. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I'm fired up, man.
I mean, if they can continue to win, he's going to get a lot more attention now. You like to see Osborne, had a tough penalty, and then they go right back to him. I thought it was
great.
Classy. That was a classy call to keep him in the game.
I said, throw him the ball. Go right back to him, and then they did. I couldn't believe it.
Got him right back in the game. Because you need Osborne to step up as well. I mean, Addison's going to get a lot of attention coming here out. And, if they can win a couple more games here before Jefferson gets back and they find themselves sitting pretty in this division, which is, just falling apart in front of our eyes. But I got to go out and get one in Green Bay, and I don't think the Vikes have a winning record in Green Bay with damn near any team they've put on the field in the last 20 or 30 years. So it's a big one. Go up and get that win in Green Bay. But everybody this morning talking about Kirk Cousins, and he's riding this Creed train. We all have to get on the Creed train.
It's worth listening to Creed. It's worth listening to Creed to get a few wins and possibly a bunch of wins.
Yep.
Big to get a win, and and I got to say it, Creed. I mean, I'm getting my ankles taped pregame because I try to get them taped as late as possible, and I'm sitting there on the table, and suddenly it comes on. And Garrett Bradbury's doing some body work next to me, and he goes, forget this, I got to go enjoy this with the boys. So he then gets up and goes in the locker room, and I get my ankles taped, and we go in there. It's really good morale, and then we go to pray in the corner of the locker room, and any guys that want to pray, and we go prayer, over here, and so we had to turn the creed off, and Harrison Smith made a great point. He said, guys, this is the prayer. And I thought, that's pretty good. So yeah. We'll keep playing, but they keep playing higher, and I'm going, Creed has a lot of hits. They got a good catalog. We don't have to only play higher, but they're taking us higher, so we'll take it.
Dork.
He wants to play some deep cuts.
He's not doubling down. He's quadrupling down. He's literally. I mean, I just love the idea of him spending the last week really familiarizing himself with the catalog.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to go one of two ways. Because a team rallies around something, right? The NFL, there's a lot of parity.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, every team is filled with just elite athletes that were the best athletes to come out of their high school, their college program. So there's a lot of parity there. All these coaching staffs have coached with each other. The difference is those teams, that start to believe in the locker room and sort of wrap around one thing. If it's going to be Creed, fantastic. If they lose out, then this will be one of the more embarrassing Minnesota Vikings disasters of all time.
Not even possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not going to happen.
All right.
A lot of parity in the league.
Last year, by the way.
A lot of parity in the league by design. A lot of parity on this show. Parody. See what I did there?
Nice.
If you want to know the secret sauce, Kirk Cousins just said we're listening to a lot of Creed. They've got a full catalog. We've got our own Kirk Cousins right here in the studio, Tony Lee, and he's spun together a little bit of magic. I think we should get on board again. I'm ready to ride that horse again, Tony.
Make sure that Creed got played.
The Creed, and I'll close down Applebee's. Just get wide open, 'cause they're rushing me.
Oh yeah, I get sacked if I get hit.
And under pressure I'll freeze and throw in INT. Just get wide open. I don't have the wheels to jam.
Yeah, I think he picked up on that correctly.
I'll get happy feet and check down to CJ Ham. Please get wide open.
Sometimes you can't help it. You just are what you are, and you're not hiding it.
Oh, please get open.
How is he that wide open? They played Creed in the weight room today, and today was a good day.
That's all it takes.
But it makes you wonder how far the Twins could have gone if they had just hitched their wagon to Nickelback.
Oh, if only.
Oh, man, if only.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid somebody put a Prince record on in that locker room.
Yeah, right.
God forbid someone work up that new remix of Tim from The Replacements.
I know.
Knock out a little Soul Asylum hang time while you're at it. Come on. Creed. I mean, I'll take it. If that's what it takes, if that's what Kirk Cousins needs. I tell you what, man, rework his entire career with the Creed in his headphones. The guy's Joe Montana, apparently.
Who knows? We're talking about a Hall of Famer closing out his career here.
Can you imagine if, 10 years from now, we're sitting here going, no one's ever had a great, more unexpected final chapter in their career. Guy hit his mid-30s. We thought he was done. Now he's Tom Brady redo, and it's all because of the power of Creed.
Scott Stapp will be in U.S. Bank Stadium this season.
I
almost guarantee it.
You know what?
They're putting it together now.
That was a great wager. It was a great wager a week ago. Now it's almost too easy.
We got to get Scott Stapp on, don't we? What's he doing? Is he sleeping in a hotel room, waiting for a knock on the door and an interview somewhere? Maybe.
If he's in a hotel room, it's in someone else's name at this point. I'm just gonna say. Sorry, I don't think that don't think things are going so well for Scotty Boy. Last I heard.
All right, we're gonna move along now. Right now on the talk and text line, callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. We're playing Shock the Monkey, baby. Tickets to Tesla. They're showing up Saturday, January 27th at the Mystic Showroom. Prize provided by Mystic Lake Casino. Those go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Our runner-up today gets Fabulous Armadillos tickets Friday, October 27th at the Medina. Those tickets provided by the Medina Entertainment Center. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Steve Gorman, this is the KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, October the 24th. Qingdao, the brewery from China, It's spelled Tsingtao, if anyone's going. What the hell are you talking about? Qingdao. Second largest beer maker in China. They're investigating. Someone turned in a video that shows someone in the warehouse, in the brewery, I should say, climbing up the ladder, standing over the large, giant barrel of beer and taking a leak.
No.
It's supposed to be the other way around, I think.
Woo! It's not clear if the man is a company employee. How do you get close to a vat of beer on the make if you're not an employee?
No. Do you think Budweiser is suing them for stealing their recipe?
Man, could be. Good point right there. So anyway, I've enjoyed that beer for years, and maybe this is just an insight into why it's so damn tasty.
Yeah,
Sure,
that's
it's got that snap.
Yeah,
It just kicks right off with the food.
Tangy zip.
Man, that could very well be the secret. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is this: the Vikings got a great win last night. The as you said, Zeb, season-altering headlines.
Well,
I don't think it's over the top. I don't think it's hyperbole. If they protect the ball, we're looking at a heck of a second half of the season for the Minnesota Vikings. But there it is.
Yep.
The siren call. Let's see. But we have to move on to other things right now because Tesla is going to be in town Saturday, January 27th. At the Mystic Showroom. Tesla, a great band from Sacramento, California. They fell in between the cracks. You had Sunset Strip, then you had Seattle. Late 80s, Hollywood, glam rock, hard rock, teased hair and eyeliner, and hard drugs. And then you had Seattle 4 years later, 87 and 91. Then you have hard drugs, but with flannel and no teased hair. and then in between, there was just some real, honest, just some nice guys from Sacramento making great rock and roll music, and that's the band Tesla. Still around, still doing it. They're going to be here January the 27th. We've got tickets to give away to see the five-man acoustical band themselves, as I said, at Mystic Lake Casino, and we've got two callers ready to compete. Tony, what is today's game du jour?
Well, Tesla, we salute Tesla, the pioneer, the pure genius, the father of electricity.
Nikolai himself.
Absolutely. So why not use that power to blast a mammal and win a prize?
The KQ Morning Show presents
Shock the monkey. Shock the monkey. We've got an animal going into shock here.
So what we're going to do is test your knowledge, your random trivia skills, your ability to guess. So what we've done is strap a monkey to a metal chair here in the studio, and we're going to fire off questions. And if you get it wrong, you, of course, get ridiculed and mocked. But if you get it right, you sick listeners, you get to send 2,000 volts of electricity into the hide of an unfortunate chimp.
Candace, how many times do we have to tell you if you're petting the monkey when he's shocked, you too will be shocked?
Well, maybe I want to be shocked.
Hands off the monkey, Candace.
Shock me.
Wow, fair enough. Got Ace Frehley sitting here in the studio.
Yeah.
Shock me, Steve.
All right, so we're going to play Shock the Monkey. By the way, you know who didn't play Shock the Monkey? Peter Gabriel last month at the XL Energy Center.
He didn't even include that.
Did not play Shock the Monkey at the gig. And by the way, didn't even miss it. But I was driving home and I went, hey, he didn't play Shock the Monkey. Huh. It's a great show, but I wish I'd heard it. All right, here we go. Candace, who's contestant number one?
Steve from Cannon Falls.
Steve, you monkey shocker. How are you, brother?
Hey, how about them Vikes, huh?
That's what I'm saying. This is the beginning of an epic turn of events for this team. I'm excited about it. Steve, are you ready to play Shock the Monkey? Sure. Why not, as long as we're all here. Tony, take it away.
Steve, number one, Australia is wider than the moon. True or false?
False.
Wow.
Sorry. Oh, not a good monkey start. It is true. Australia is wider than the moon.
Well, you'd think the moon looks so damn big up there, so bright. You know?
It does.
What do we know about Australia? Is it even there?
Honestly, I'd take my chances on the moon. Everything in Australia can kill you.
Number two, our friend the avocado is not a vegetable. True or false?
True.
Attaboy.
Nice.
First scorching of the chimp.
That's why we like to eat it.
You can see the monkey's face. He's like, he even knew. Oh, here it comes.
Steve-O, number three, Viking quarterback Kirk Cousins' middle name is Euripides.
False.
That is right.
Man.
It is Daniel.
The Niners were trying to Euripides that ball right out of his hands, but they couldn't. That's a
They're
stretch.
taking us
Never
higher,
mind.
so we'll take it.
See?
We'll take it. Number 4, Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street were named after characters in a Christmas movie.
True.
Correct. Bert the cop
Yes.
and Ernie the cab driver from It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Learned
Yes.
something
Fair
right
enough.
there, yeah.
Okay.
All right, your last one, Steve-O. February 1964. A brash and bold Cassius Clay claims his first heavyweight boxing title by knocking out former champ Otis Sistrunk.
False.
Correct. It was, of course, who?
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston.
Wasn't Otis Sistrunk? Did he play for the Steelers?
No, Raiders, number 6.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't know, it just popped
That's
in
what
my
it
head.
was. I should know that.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure is. Wow, Steve, you started off wobbly, but came back strong, 4 for 5. Not unlike those Vikings. Well played, sir.
Sure.
Nice job, Steve.
Yeah, he's cool. All right, so we're going to put you on hold, Steve. Hang in there for a minute. We'll see what caller number 2 is able to do. Candace, who is caller number 2?
Jessica from New Prague.
Jessica, good morning.
Good morning.
Did you watch that Vikings game?
Actually, I didn't. I missed it.
Well,
Sounds like I missed a good one.
You did. They won. That's all that matters. Are you a Tesla fan by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Right on. You're in the right place. All right. Are you ready to shock the monkey?
Yeah.
Okay, good answer.
She had to check real quick, as you do.
All right, Tony, let's see what Jessica's got.
Jess, number 1, the sloth is an amazing animal, for it can hold its breath for 40 minutes. True or false?
True.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
The sloths slow down
Yeah,
their heart rate,
right.
is what happens.
Is that what
That's what
happens?
happens, mister.
Man.
Jess, number 2, despite their different colors, Fruit Loops cereal, they're all the same flavor.
False.
Oh, my goodness. It is true. They are all
is
the
true.
same.
No,
You'd think it would be fruity goodness, but
if you think they're different flavors, you're tasting the power of the mind.
there's no diversity in Fruit Loops. Number 3, the children's mocking and taunting melody of na 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 was actually the mating cry of the now extinct wild seabird known as the spotted wahanda.
True.
I am sorry.
Yeah,
It's
that
not-
guy that said true that's helping you out, go ahead and
Yeah.
kick it in the shin.
Wrong lifeline. Jeez, he's 0 for 2.
Number 4, while pinching your nose, it is physically impossible to hum.
True.
Yes, go ahead and try
Yeah,
it.
you
Wow,
told me. I did. I was doing it while you were.
Wow, I thought we were going to hear. I thought we were going to hear Jessica try it, but didn't need to. She knew the answer. Well done.
Thought about it.
All right, your last one, Jess. The family business of Dwight Schrute, a character on The Office, was raising chinchillas for fur.
True.
I'm sorry, they were beet farmers. Gosh darn it.
Farmers, wow. I just had a realization. There was a band in the 80s called the Beat Farmers. They spelled it B-E-A-T,
Oh,
and I
right.
never, ever connected that it was a play on words for beet farmers until this very moment.
Great.
Unbelievable. Jessica, you went 3 for 5. That's not going to be enough to win the Tesla tickets. However, we do have tickets to see the fabulous Armadillos Friday, October 27th at the Medina Entertainment Center. Steve, you're the big winner. You got Tesla tickets, brother. January 27th at the Mystic Showroom. Steve says, all right. Have a good time, both of you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
You got it.
Just one more to make us feel better.
Here I am at this age realizing the Beat Farmers was a play on Beat Farmers. Wow. Go figure.
Have you heard about the Beatles?
I have heard of them. I understand they had a bunch of hits back in the day.
The Beat Diggers. That's a high school mascot out there in Montana, the Beat Diggers.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Diggers.
Big beet farmers out there, the Beat Digger. David Letterman talked about them years ago, and they ended up, at one point, were funding the entire high school program with merchandise. People ordering their beat. That was a long time ago. I don't know if that still exists.
Wow. My weird high school other team we played with a strange name, the New Harmony in Southern Indiana, used to go play basketball against the New Harmony Rapites.
Oh, the old
Rapites.
The Rapites. R-A-P-P-I-T-E-S. Check this out. The Rapites they were from something they called the Harmony Society. bunch of German Christian philosophy thing from the 17th century or 18th century. They ended up, a bunch of them, in southern Indiana, and they called the town New Harmony. And therefore, the high school the team was called the Rappites. George Rapp, I believe his name was. Was it George Rapp? Johann George Rapp. That's the guy who founded this entire thing.
Would be what was the logo?
They didn't. I don't remember them having like a cool looking weird beaverish animal or anything like that. It was just sort of like
something like our wild.
Yeah, it was just like I think they were just small town kids. But the thing that was cool about them, they were it wasn't like a Christian school. Like there's a school in Nashville to this day, the cheerleaders wear full length skirts.
Oh wow.
Full length skirts. Like Nashville Christian Academy. I've seen
nice
it.
Pantsuit.
Yeah. New Harmony, Indiana is they were like the opposite. They were actual kind of like hippie Christian, like 70s Jesus as a Catholic, sandals, acoustic guitars. They kind of rocked that vibe. But it was very much truly about just getting along with everybody, loving everyone, accepting people for who they were, no judgment. And that was an amazing community and a wonderful school ethos, and they were the dirtiest sons of bitches we ever played against.
I was just gonna say, I bet that wasn't between the whistles.
No, my God, they were so justified in their cheating. It was incredible. I watched my brother Doug get his head slammed into a hardwood floor. He went down, and a guy for New Harmony accidentally stepped on his head, and it was like accidentally in all quotes.
For the glory of God. For the glory of God.
For the glory of harmony and Johann George Rapp. But the coolest part about playing that, my one enduring memory, other than watching my brother's brains get squished out of his ears, was 10th grade, playing at New Harmony. First time ever during a pregame layup line, they played music in the gym. And it was the Cars, Let the Good Times Roll.
Nice. How radical.
We're doing layups. I'm like, what? What is that music? Does someone have a boombox? And I look and I realize it's over the PA. And honest to God, like everyone jumped 6 inches higher on every layup.
Yeah.
Like I thought we were like the Lakers at the Forum all of a sudden. We're in a Cracker Box gym that's 100 years old in Indiana, and I'm like, oh my! I've never glid to the basket like this. I'm gliding like Jordan himself. It was unreal, and it was literally a slow. Not even mid-tempo dirge. Think about Let the Good Times Roll. It's the slowest jam ever for that era. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, look what Creed has done for the Vikings locker room.
Man.
It can motivate the power of music.
Yeah, so I tell that story, and then, of course, my brother's version is, it was great until I got my brain smacked out of my head. Yeah, we had very different memories of the day.
Yeah, we had Sunshine Bible Academy, the good kids over at Sunshine Bible Academy, and you're right, it was like playing the Raiders every year. You were dislocating fingers and biting in the pile and, checking the oil, as they say.
Oh, it's tough. I don't know. I was about to go down an off ramp, a tangent on something, but probably best left for another day and another time because I don't want to blow the vibe here. But we do have, we got some cool stuff going on later in the show today. Robert Smith at 9:00. Oh, we'll be looking back on last night's win with the Vicon himself, Robert Smith. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And it wouldn't be Shocktober on this frequency without a visit from the Mistress of the Dark. I was looking at Candace, but I'm not referring to our own Mistress of the Dark. I'm going to the original Elvira, joining us at 8:00 to talk about her tell-all memoir. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, October the 24th. The Vikings are 3-4, and they're a pretty good 3-4 team. Our fortunes have turned, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. I will take the sound of that horn for the next 10 weeks.
Big to get a win, and I got to say it, Creed. I mean...
And he don't mean Apollo, baby. He means Creed. Good old-fashioned rock from Florida Creed. In a few moments, in seconds from right now, we're going to be joined by Cassandra Peterson on the show. You know her better as Elvira. Cassandra Peterson has a new book, Yours Cruelly, Elvira, Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark. It came out a couple years ago. Now it is available in paperback everywhere. And she's on the KQ Morning Show with us right now. Good morning, Cassandra.
Hi. how you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for getting up early and giving us a shout. The book, Elvira, the book has been out for a few years now in paperback. Yours Cruelly. There is so much in this that I and probably most people never really knew about you. I knew you were with Groundlings. I understood a little bit of your career, but I got to start right here. You were in an Italian pop band at one point in your career?
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. Yeah, I lived in Italy and got in a little pop group and traveled around for about a year. And I still speak a little Italian.
And this
over there, I did pretty good.
What era was this? I'm just trying to picture what was going on in Italy at this time.
It was the 70s. That's right. When people ask me about things that happened in the 70s, I have no idea because I was in Italy, very involved in this band. So, yeah, sometime and I think early 70s, yeah.
So were you already, did you already have some Italian, or was it one of those things you got into a situation and realized I better learn some Italian real fast?
Yeah, I got into a situation and learned I better get learn Italian real fast. Yeah, it was really depressing when my 5 other band members didn't speak a word of English, so I had to learn Italian because you just can't go without talking to people for, months.
Yeah, that's very true. We are on the phone right now with Cassandra Peterson, also known as Elvira. Her paperback is now available in, her book, I should say, is now available in paperback. Let's go back to you as a kid. I'm reading here that after a childhood accident where you had some boiling water and you suffered some serious burns, you felt a little like a bit of a misfit, and that led to a love early on of horror films.
Yeah, it did. Kids actually called me a monster when I'd walk around because I had these burn scars. Mm-hmm. And I got into horror films in about between the second and third grade when my cousin took me to House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. And I got so hooked into horror that I just became a little mini horror nerd, buying horror magazines and making model kits of Dracula and stuff. And it was weird at the time, not so weird now.
No, that's pretty great. That's letting a kid having a tough situation find their own way out of it. I guess your parents were cool with that then.
Yeah, I mean, they thought I was weird too, but they're okay.
Well, they thought you were weird, but they let you do it. So I guess props to them on that age. But you also you did split at an early age. And then, I mean, let's just get into it. You are later in your teenage years. You're in Vegas, and you're running into Frank and Sammy and Tom Jones, and then all the way to Elvis Presley. What on earth led you to think that at 17, 18 years old that was that made any sense? I mean, it obviously did, but how did you know Vegas? Let me get there.
It was so bizarre. When I was like 14 years old, I went to see the movie Viva Las Vegas with Elvis Presley and Margaret. And I became obsessed with that movie. And I'm not kidding when I say obsessed. I thought about it all day. I daydreamed about it. I dreamed about it at night. And when I saw that movie, I decided I wanted to be a showgirl in Las Vegas. I mean, prior to that, I didn't even know what the hell Las Vegas was or a showgirl. And I ended up on a vacation with my mom and dad, and I literally got picked out of the audience and asked if I would like to audition to be a showgirl. I did. I got the job. I was 17. I still had to beg my parents to kind of sign off on me because they had signed waivers saying I could come and go from the casino and prance around in my, movies on stage.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to sign off on that. But they did after I made their lives miserable and torturous for about a year. And so I ended up in Vegas as a showgirl and thought that was the end of the road for me. Thought that this is fantastic. I'm going to be a showgirl for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And I met Elvis, who convinced me that it was not a good place for a young girl, which, he was so right about that. And convinced me to get out of Vegas and do something else and talk to me about becoming a singer. So, I mean, hard to believe it. If it wasn't for Elvis, I was the youngest showgirl in Las Vegas at the time. I would now be the oldest showgirl in Las Vegas.
Okay, I do like the way you just dropped that. And then I met Elvis, like you're talking about Elvis Parsnip, the mailman. How does one of many showgirls in Vegas actually get an audience with the king?
It was very bizarre. My roommate had been dating Elvis's road manager, Joe Esposito, and he invited her to come to a party after Elvis's show at the International Hotel in Las Vegas, and she invited me to come along. So I just completely lucked out. Went to this party that he had at his suite, which was the top floor of the International Hotel at the time it was called. And, maybe there were 20, 30 people there, and finally ended up it was kind of honed in on me. I was 17 as compared to everybody else who was probably in their 30s. And ended up just sitting there and talking to him the whole entire night and singing along with him while he played the piano. And, it was really one of those life-changing moments. People ask you, do you have points in your life that were, if they hadn't come along, who knows what would have happened. And that was definitely a point for me.
Sure.
Transitional moment, When Elvis tells you that you shouldn't be doing something, you just don't do it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. I've spoken. I know a few people who've had interactions with Elvis back in the day, and it sounds like you would tell me the same thing. That in person, if you did have a moment more than just the "Hey, how you doing," he really was a very sweet-natured guy. Like, this sounds like he was actually just looking out for you, big brother-like.
Honest to God, I think he was. I've met many people since that have met him too, and he was an amazingly spiritual guy. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Not what I would call religious, but very spiritual. He believed in manifesting your life, your future, and I think that's a lot of things. Something people do not realize, that I've met so many people over the years who've told me kind of the same thing, that he was really deep, introspective, and helped a lot of people. Didn't just give them Cadillacs. Although I must say I would have liked a Cadillac.
Sure.
That would have been a nice touch.
I think what he gave me was much more valuable, and that was fantastic advice that changed the course of my life.
And we're just really kind of getting started with your book, Cassandra, Cruelly Yours, your memoir that's been out for a few years now. Because how do you get from, I see Showgirl, you bump into Elvis, that's a lucky break for you. He says, get out of there, start singing. How the heck do you get into improv comedy? How do you end up working alongside Phil Hartman and Paul Rubens?
Years passed. I went to Europe for a while, came back, worked in Miami Beach at the Playboy Club for a while, then finally worked my way to L.A., where I decided I was going to get into acting. It was kind of the next step. I had been a dancer, then a singer, and then it's like, believe it or not, when you get into your late 20s, you're almost getting old for those types of careers, especially dancing. Not for singing, obviously, but I just wanted to take the next step and got into acting. And I went to a show called The Groundlings. That friends took me, and I saw Bill Hartman and Paul Rubens on stage, and John Paragon, who played Johnny the Genie later on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Saw those guys on stage and went, oh, my God, this is what I want to do. It was, it was one of those kind of epiphanies, a moment where I just fell in love with what they were doing. And weaseled my way into the Groundlings, took their classes, and eventually became a Groundling, and worked with them and was dear friends with them, of course, up until they both passed. And John Paragon also was my writing partner for 21 years, and he passed as well last year. So I'm the only one left.
Cassandra Peterson's with us on the KQ Morning Show. You know her better as Elvira. Yours Cruelly, Elvira, Memoirs of the Mistress of Dark, is now available in paperback. I can remember, I don't remember the exact year, but I know where I was and who I was with, a buddy from high school one day, and I seriously remember him going, hey, have you seen this Elvira chick? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it seemed like all of a sudden, and I'm in a small town in Kentucky, and within a couple months of that conversation, you were the hottest thing on earth. The Elvira TV show, that seems like another thing that just sort of came out of nowhere, fell into place. You saw an opportunity and ran after it, I guess.
Yeah, sounds to me like I helped somebody through puberty. Anyway, yeah.
Not just somebody, everybody.
Right.
Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah. What did I do? Oh, yeah. So I came across this little part of a local station hosting horror movies. To tell you the truth, it was kind of embarrassing. It was kind of like I'm on, late night local cable TV and doing this really wacky character that they wanted me to come up with. But that thing took off, man. I would not have believed I would be doing it for 2 weeks, let alone when am I doing it for 43 years now? Holy crap. Yeah, so that was a big surprise. I don't even know if that's the answer to the question you asked me, but yeah, that's what happened. It took off, and it's just been kind of going ever since. And I became pretty synonymous with Halloween, kind of like these Santa Claus of Halloween.
There are worse things to be synonymous with and worse things to be thought of every year. Yeah, to your point, that was, I'm sure you were aware of it, but probably after we were all aware of it, just the impact of that show. And it was, and yeah, you were hot. You helped us get through, but it was so funny and it was so irreverent. And for all of that, it just worked. And that's why it continues to work. Thank you so much for taking the time to call us. The book, Yours Cruelly, Elvira, Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark, everywhere in paper book. Happy Halloween, and it's a real pleasure. Thanks.
Happy Halloween to you, too. Thanks, you guys.
See ya.
I remember growing up, like you said, obviously her sex appeal, because I loved watching horror movies on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And the SCTV skits of Count Floyd. And
I was
Dr.
just thinking
Tongue's
about
3D.
Count Floyd. I wonder if I'm sure she saw that.
Oh, we had some crazy local guy in Sioux Falls, South Dakota that did a late night count thing, and it was so cheesy. And then she came along, and you're right, all the sex appeal, but it was fun and it was funny. And Mom and Dad, knowing that I was a big horror movie buff, would sit there and you could hear them murmuring behind me. Well, it's the horror movie. And the Mom's like, well, it's fishnet, it's scap. And he's like, well, just, the boys got to grow up sometime kind of thing. So, yeah, it was, she came at you with both barrels, entertaining and both barrels.
Yeah, for sure.
We had Horror Incorporated here.
Oh, Horror
really?
Incorporated. I remember hearing about that.
That's pretty great. Yeah, Baltimore as a kid, there was a station there. Channel 20 had Creature Feature.
Yeah.
Double feature every Friday night of 2 back-to-back. And they're all the black and white, like Creature from the Black Lagoon. How many times can you watch it? Turns out a lot as a kid. Every third week, it was the Black Lagoon again.
One of my favorites,
Terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the highlights of one of the fun years of my career didn't get paid a dime for it, but we have a Channel 45 here in town, and my buddy was doing a lot of local TV stuff, and he said, hey, man, they want us to do late-night horror movies on Saturday night, and we just are going to do skits between commercial breaks because they have no commercials, and it was just a blast doing that for a while. I don't think anyone watched. No one's ever approached me about it,
right?
But we had a damn good time. All right. Well, from Elvira on to the one and only Mary Mack is coming to Acme Comedy Club. A couple of weeks, and she's going to join us at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, October the 24th. In 30 minutes, Robert Smith is going to join us. The Vicon himself will be discussing last night's win over the Niners and the week ahead, as the Vikings are certainly doing their best to turn the Viking ship around. Mary Mack's joining us in a few moments. A couple weeks, she's going to do a 4-night run at Acme. You will want to get tickets quickly because they won't be none by the time she gets to town, I would imagine. Mary Mack is pretty great. In the meantime, If you're a hockey fan, check this out.
Yeah.
Okay, we all know the NFL Red Zone. We love that. If you've ever seen the Red Zone, it's basically, it comes on the air for 7 straight hours every Sunday. All the games that are being played live, it just bounces from game to game to game. The original conceit is anytime any team is in the red zone, we'll show you that. There are moments when someone's not in the red zone, they still show you highlights. You can watch all the games at once in a sense. You have an idea of what's going on all around the league in real time for the entire 6 to 7 hours. It is outstanding. The NHL is about to launch something very similar. They're calling it, I just had it in front of me, the Frozen Frenzy.
Yeah.
ESPN's going to launch this bad boy. They're saying it's going to be the NHL equivalent of the Red Zone. So on nights when all teams are playing, there are going to be a few during the season. Every team will be on the ice. On the same night, they will air the Frozen Frenzy, and you can just watch action, all the hits, all the goals, all the plays of note in real time. And I tell you right now, man, that will go a long way towards getting people to pay attention to otherwise, mundane regular season hockey.
Kind of a cutesy name, though.
When I say people, I mean people like me. Like, I'm a Predators fan, and then I move here, and I'm like, yeah, I like the Wild. I'll follow the Wild, but I'm not following the whole league. I just never have. I'm not going to pretend I do. But I would watch that, and I think of it like in the way that in the 90s I would play Sega hockey. I knew every player on every team because of a video game. The Frozen Frenzy, to your point, Tony, not in love with the name. It sounds like a Disney Channel. It sounds like that would be on like The Sweet Life with Drake and Josh or whatever they'd be. Let's go play Frozen Frenzy. But that said, I think it's pretty cool, and I will check it out.
That's the same people who came up, I think, with the Wild logo. We won't get into that again now, but they try hard there in hockey, and clever has never been. But yeah, I like this for the same reasons you do. It's first of all, it's Minnesota Wild still a little frustrated with that whole Bally Sports thing and trying to catch the games here and there. So they're the reason. The Wild are the sole reason I have ESPN Plus. I'm forking out for that. So that must be the only streaming service I didn't have until I wanted to start watching Wild games. But yeah, just to kind of pull in the rest of the league, see what else is going on, because I get so focused on the Wild.
I think it's great. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to check it out. Right now, I'm very happy to say joining us on the horn, Mary Mack is with us. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're wonderful. We're better now to be chatting with you. I think it was it Elvis Costello who very famously sang "What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Cheese Curds."
Yep, I love that song. Yeah, I love hearing your guys' voice. I've been doing your one voice, your many voices. I've been coming on KQ now for almost 20 years, and I have to say, I'm so impressed with Candace's traffic report.
What are you kidding?
Because there was such an emotional gravitas behind the car stuck on the side of the road. I really believed it.
Serious business, man. People are out there waiting and they got places to go.
Listen, man, when you are in that fender bender on 494, that's all that matters. And Candace understands that.
It is. I know it. Man, you guys, it's just so... I'm so tired. I'm not going to lie. Peace, Love, and Cheese Curds tour has taken it out of me. I can't wait to get back to my pole barn. People can't even call you when you're in the pole barn. They can't penetrate. The cell phone signal can't even penetrate the metal. Tim and I tried to call out the other day, and I don't know what's going on. You can't get a signal. So we've got 2 booster antennas up there for the cell phone. And I'm like, aim it at Duluth, Tim. That didn't work. I've got aluminum foil on this thing now. I've got a old clothes hanger. I have a metal pie tin aimed at Duluth now. I stuck that out like a white trash satellite dish. We are decreasing the value of this property one DIY project at a time.
What's happening in that pole barn? What goes on behind closed doors?
Well, Lot of dog talk. The dogs are very important to us.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of crocheting orange collars so the dogs don't get shot during hunting season.
Sure,
there's a lot of important Etsy work that takes place.
What kind of dogs are we talking about?
Oh, Beagle Retriever, a Beaver. It's a very important breed. It's not recognized by the what's that called? The American Canine
Kennel.
Something.
Yeah.
They're always trying to hold. They're always trying to hold someone down.
They are. They're holding somebody down. I go between helping the dogs and helping my mom. She doesn't have the internet, but she's heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God!
Oh, it's getting around. It's getting around for sure.
It is. She used to think it took Google several days to get back to you, and that was manageable. Okay, so we've surpassed the mother-daughter relationship. So now, I'm more like a personal assistant. She's always calling me up, and she's like, "Hey, get on your hand computer. Get on there. I want you to look me up. Why is my cat licking all its fur off?" And then she gave me several days, right? And that I enjoyed that time. I needed that time to process. But now she knows it's instant. So she calls me up and she says, "Hey, get on there. I want you to look me up. How much booze can I have with this new medication? I'll hold."
Sure, I'll hold.
Please. It's so much. And I did look it up, you guys. She's not supposed to have any booze. And I told her that. Then she goes, "I'll go to the doctor then." Well, that would have been a great first choice.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, how much booze you want to have with this medication, Jan? And my mom goes, "I want to have the equivalent of 4 brandies." Yeah, okay, you guys aren't laughing because you also don't realize a brandy is not a unit of measurement. Doctors need facts. They need cc's. They need measurements. They need milligrams. So the doctor says, "What is the equivalent of 4 brandies?" My mom says, "Well, if you had 1 brandy, you get 3 more brandies. You had 2 brandies already? Well, you just get 2 more brandies. You already had 3 brandies. You only get 1 brandy." So she basically just did all the factors of brandy.
Right.
And,
sure.
Yeah. At the end, the doctor was so confused. He wrote her a note for the equivalent of 4 brandy.
I'm just impressed that your mom will stop herself at 4. She literally is like, if you've had 1, you only get 3 more. I mean, that's good. It could be worse.
Yeah. Well, also, it is the equivalent of 4 brandies. So I mean, equivalent there's a little bit of gray area in that word. I feel.
I kind of feel that myself. What's going on with you and the clarinet these days? Anything?
Oh my gosh, you guys! I didn't even know you were going to ask me this, but I was in the Port Wing community band again this summer. The drama.
Well, bands are tough work. I can speak to that.
Well, yeah, you had more of a professional organization. I'm working with guys who got their volunteer firefighter walkie-talkies on during the whole rehearsal.
Sure.
I can't quit the band because there's so much drama. The gal behind me, Lori Bjorglund, she hasn't played her saxophone in 45 years.
Oh, Lori.
Oh, I know. And if we pass out one song that has more than 2 sharps, Lori stands up. She's like, "I'm out. I can't do it."
That's a long time to go without keeping that breath. You know what I mean? Those lungs just aren't built to take 45-year gaps in saxophone play.
Yeah, and nobody tells Lori that she needs to practice because Lori's the main EMT in town. So, like, if you say something to make Lori mad, like, she might not get there that fast.
Yeah,
you know what
no
I mean?
kidding.
Right.
You got to be nice to her.
Mary Max with us on the KQ Morning Show. Mary, you're at Acme Comedy Club Wednesday, November 8th through the whole weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's kind of cool. I mean, do you have how many times have you performed in the Twin Cities? Any idea, ballpark number?
Oh, I don't know.
Countless.
I try not. That's a hard one because, you have all your little, like, secret practice shows, right? And you have, this will be the oh, God, this will be like the 20th year. And, no, I took a couple years off. Not a comedy of Twin Cities performances. But, it'll be like the 18th year of shows at Acme for headlining.
Sure.
You know? Or the 17th for headline, because I started as everybody does, as the host, and then the nice owner of the club, Louis Lee, was like, "You're no good at hosting. You got to move up." I'm the only person in history who ever got to advance because they were terrible at a job.
It's a life lesson for us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't do well, and then see where it takes you. So yeah, that's a lot of nostalgia to just even think about. That.
Mary, you and Tim dressing up for Halloween this year. Candace has many outfits. Us guys are past the point of dressing up. Where are you with Halloween? What's Mary Mack go as for Halloween?
Well, geez, I'm working in Chicago that night, so I'm going to go as myself, and I'll stick out pretty good.
Yeah, that is a costume in Chicago, isn't it?
You're the only person that can say that you hate Halloween, and I won't freak out because I understand.
Well, it's a little scary, and I've been traumatized because it used to be when beer was more affordable, people would get soused on Halloween, and then like I remember one Halloween I worked in Indiana somewhere, and this man sat in the front row, and he belched the entire show, and then that was really when Halloween took a downward spiral in my in my holiday book, but it's coming back. People are more respectable. What are you going to be, Candace?
I'm going to be a mermaid. Yeah.
Wow.
And
you have a wheelbarrow or something people can cart you around in?
That's what I was wondering.
Over the back, the firemen's carry.
No, but if you bring a net, you can try to catch me all night.
Ooh, boy.
Are you going to put some of those plastic pop tops in your mouth like you're choking on them?
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's funny.
That's a good idea.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, just make a statement, make an environmental statement while you're boozing it up on Halloween.
Yes, ma'am.
I think drunken Halloween parties are the perfect place for a statement about the environment.
Straw sticking under your nose.
That'll be perfect.
Do you guys remember bobbing for apples? When I was a kid, we did bobbing for apples on Halloween at the community center. It's like, wow, we did that. We just put our head right down into a spitty vat of apples, and that was fine. And nobody ever wondered why their child was so sick. Things have changed. I'm getting so old. Guys, I'm checking myself into a home, so I don't know if I'll be able to come on next year.
We'll track you down wherever you are. That's fine. I remember 20 years ago, the Gulf War, there was a lot of talk about waterboarding, and I kept saying, "What? None of you guys have bobbed for apples? You don't know what that feels like? It's a nightmare bobbing for apples, especially with older siblings."
And yes, it is. And it's also so sad because you're hopped up on sugar and sweets and candy corns and all this. And the one healthy thing you could add to your diet that night would have been that apple.
Would have been.
But the one thing that might have saved you from your diabetes could have been the apple, and you can't even get it. It's unobtainable. It's a real commentary on what's happening in this country. I stand by my drunken Halloween party statement night. I stand by it.
Mary Mack,
making a difference.
Mary Mack is at Acme Wednesday, November 8th through Saturday, November 11th. And I'm just gonna, if you do, you're in Halloween, you're in Chicago for Halloween. I do have a quick, just a costume suggestion. Only you could get away with.
Yes.
Artie Shaw, come on.
Oh my God! I have an Artie Shaw clarinet songbook.
Oh yeah, come on, get like a white jacket, tuxedo, the glasses. I can picture Artie Shaw. Just close my eyes. You're the only person I know that could pull it off.
I might do it. Okay, now I'm back in. I'm back in. You sold me on Halloween. I will even bring my beer clarinet. Okay,
awesome.
I have my polka clarinet where it's okay to drink beer and play down there, and then I got my real clarinet. But I'll bring it. I'll take it out. Thank you so much. I'm in.
It's
back.
It's the least we could do. Mary, thank you. It's always our complete pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day.
See ya. Mary Mack. Mary Mack, the tour. Peace, love, and cheese curds.
Yeah.
Kind of says it all right there.
So adorable.
Really does.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic. Well, okay, let's stay on the phones up.
All right. Well, Steve, this morning you're all filled with innocent positivity about our Vikings. What is this, a 2-game winning streak they're on now?
Listen, the journey of 10 straight wins starts with 2.
Starts here. Viking lifers, we're all wondering when the heartbreak's going to come. Is it going to come this weekend, the border battle, or are they going to wait till the playoffs again, that first round? We need a Vicon to break it down, and we have one for you. Robert Smith, 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was, of course, Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady, spelled Foxey sometimes, because, you know, the English, they always add an E to things, kind of like butter. They just add it.
Yeah, there's whiskey. Well, of course, they took one away. They don't have an E in England or Scotland in whiskey.
Oh, that's right. They put it in the Foxy. They took the E
from the whiskey.
That's right. But they put it back in. They add butter to their sandwiches too. And by the way, as gross as that sounds, there are times in life when a little cucumber and butter sandwich on white bread is really what the doctor ordered. I never thought I'd say that.
I'll not take your word for it. I haven't tried it, but
yeah. There's sometimes someone will just set down a mug of tea and hand you a cucumber and butter sandwich, and you think, what the hell is? It's pretty great, actually. Yeah, you guys figured this one out like back in the 1700s, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, does the job. And by the way, speaking of butter, the Vikings are buttering their own bread right now. With that win last night, coming in at 3-4, this is a team who, if candy and nuts were ifs and buts or whatever that old statement is, but if this team had protected the ball through the first 6 games of the season, a 2-4 start could have very easily been a 4-2. Even a 5-1 start. I mean, they have 4 losses, all single score games, all losses that were largely influenced by their inability to maintain possession.
Yeah.
If they have tightened those screws down, and if this team continues to play egregious mistake-free football, they are absolutely in the thick of things. Chance to get back to 4-4 against the. Let's see. What's this team called? The what now? The Packers? Is that their name?
In Green Bay? Municipal team or something I think they have up there, right?
Yeah. Muni. It's a Muni farm system up there. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. And that's when we talked to Robert Smith, I think he's calling in right now. That's I haven't been really tracking the Pack this year. They came out of the gate strong. Looked like they might have had a quarterback there, but I like this defense against this quarterback this weekend, but I don't know too much about that. Maybe Robert will give us a little 4-1-1 on the Packers offense.
Joining us now on the KQ Talk and Text line, the Vicon himself, Robert Smith, joins us. Robert, you and I go back a long way. You have indulged my inane football commentary for years, and I've always appreciate that. You're a gentleman. Let's start with this. Long story short, at the end of the season, might we look back and say the best thing that ever happened to Jordan Addison was Justin Jefferson taking a few weeks off?
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. It's certainly possible. And we called the last game against the Bears, and they talked about the difference without Justin Jefferson and just kind of how the offense would look and how guys needed to develop. And, maybe the best thing that happened to Jordan Addison was getting that ball ripped away from him at the beginning of the game.
Right.
On a primetime Monday night game, maybe that was actually the best thing if you want to break it down even further. But he was going to develop either way. I thought it was a great pick when it happened, and he's certainly developing well. And, it's funny. And I'm sure that there are fans out there that have done this because I was total fanboy last night.
Nice.
Double fanboy because I've become a Rangers fan, even though I'm an Indians fan. I'm an Indians/Guardians fan.
Right.
I've become a Rangers fan because I live here in Arlington. Was at a game last week, so 2 big wins last night. But it was funny watching the Vikings game. I was like, oh man, I didn't even care what happens to the rest of the season. Just win this game, right?
Yep.
Because it was just one of those kind of games where everybody going in is like, oh, they're going to get their heads beat in, and no Justin Jefferson, no chance, the season's lost, and I just knew it was a much better team than how they had played most of the year. So I wanted to see that one, and then with the missed field goal, I was just like,
right.
Oh my God, there's no way that just happened down 5 or up 5. It's going to be the bad type of storybook ending.
It turned out all okay on this end for the Vikings, to be sure. Robert, we've talked with you and with each other now since the season started. Boy, if they can just protect that ball, and you've said, well, these things turn. It's almost like an anomaly when you have so many turnovers for a 4 and 5 week stretch. I mean, last night, I think it's a pretty realistic look at what this team is capable of if they stop with the turnovers.
Yeah, no question about it. And, averages have a way of averaging out, over the long term. That's the way teams are going to look. And, going into that Bears game, it's something that Brian Flores said to us, that Harrison Smith said to us. They were so close to making so many of those plays, and of course had given up so many of those plays as turnovers themselves. So you knew that kind of thing was going to turn around. But I was just impressed. I mean, you're not just missing your best player. You're missing one of the best players in the National Football League.
Right.
And to come out and do that against that, that's impressive. There are just no two ways about it.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger surprises last night's game, you talked about getting your heads kicked in. I assumed Kirk Cousins was going to be facing pressure all night from this 49ers defense. That didn't happen, and so we see a Kirk Cousins that feels comfortable in the pocket, that isn't getting chased around, and he's obviously he's an elite quarterback. He has those stats, he has those wins when he's not being, he seemed comfortable, and he was making the big plays last night. The red zone stuff, though, you can't walk away as a Vikings fan and go, that was the most awesome win ever if you watch the entire game, just because that you can't be inside the 2-yard line twice and come away with 2 field goals and probably go the distance.
Yeah, but you can look at any football game and say things like that. They're going to be missed opportunities. The question is, did you get the most important number, right? Did you get one in the win column?
Yeah.
But if you look at any team's performance throughout the course of the year, you look at, the Chiefs and even the Eagles from a year ago, I'm sure they go through the season and say, yeah, but we could have been 17-0 if we did this, right? The question is, are you playing your best football or winning football? And I think the way that this season started to where they are right now and the opportunity they have with the schedule that they have coming up, obviously there are no gimmies, but with the schedule the way that it is coming up now, you're in really good position to get back into this thing. And we said this going into the Bears game, that's the first division game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That they had. So, you win out in your division. And as crazy as that may sound to some people or to people when they saw this team, whatever it was, 1-4, now you have to look at that and say, well, that's a very real possibility.
Robert Smith is with us on the KQ Morning Show. It's amazing how good the passing game looks when you establish a run game. That was the biggest surprise to me last night. I didn't expect a team that has barely been running the ball to decide to do so and then succeed at it so well against the Niners defense. That was you're a fan of the run game, Robert. What did you like about that?
Well, it's not like it was a huge game rushing, right?
No.
when you look at the numbers, but it was enough.
It was enough. It opened it up.
I think it was enough, and I think when you look at play design and you look at Kirk, and obviously a big part of that is the offensive line, but you look at the way that he navigated inside of the pocket and moving out of the pocket and getting off-platform, off-schedule type throws, that to me was very impressive as well. And that's another part of it for me that I love seeing, because Kirk's such a great guy, and I think he's obviously a great player. But to hear that narrative about him and to have that narrative smashed, absolutely smashed. Denny Green used to say it to us all the time, just because you haven't doesn't mean you can't. And I know that, the Monday night streak had ended a number of years ago, but to perform that way and really in back-to-back primetime games have the type of performance he's had, that's been fun to watch. And, we can't overlook what has happened defensively as well.
Of course.
I think Brian Flores has just done an amazing job. And it's not like it's a defense full of all-stars. It's not taking anything, away from guys like Daniil Hunter and, Jordan Hicks has been playing lights out. But he's gotten the best out of those guys. And to see Cam Bynum rise up the way that he did last night, I'm just really excited for those guys because they've been through a lot.
For those of us that haven't been, following the Packers as they head up to Lambeau this weekend, you got to be excited about this Brian Flores defense against a Packers team that's been stumbling, and this Jordan Love trying to, find his feet up there. How does that look, a Brian Flores defense against that Packers offense? Have you been tracking them this year?
Yeah, I have been tracking them, and Jordan Love he's having some growing pains. It's what happens at the quarterback position. With Jones getting back into that offense at the running back position, they've finally been able to get some of that stuff going. Dillon's, obviously a powerful back. I think stopping the run is really going to be key in this one. But Brian Flores, he's just done an amazing job. And he's really adapted his defense to whatever offense he's played. He's one of those guys. You come out of Belichick's system, and I know that he had been, a coordinator and of course a head coach himself. But coming out of that system, I think one thing that they do better than anybody is self-scout, and they look at what they've done and what teams are expecting based on what they've done, and they just completely change it up. And for a quarterback to be able to play the position at its highest level, a quarterback needs to be able to process quickly, and being able to process quickly means, okay, this is what I see, this is how the play evolves. And when Brian Flores is, calling defense against you, you can throw all that other stuff out of the window. And just that little bit of delay from a quarterback can be the difference in success and failure on a play.
Sure, Robert. My Fisher-Price understanding of NFL defenses, I'm watching those guys line up, and they seem like they're doing a great job of decoying blitz and different blitz packages. I mean, it really was such a I said this to my wife, who looked at me blankly, as always. I said, watching them line up, it's like when Greg Maddux was pitching. He would throw any pitch at any time, and none of it ever made sense. That's kind of the sense I got watching them last night.
Yeah, and it's funny because people looking at the defense a year ago and saying, yeah, well, we need to blitz more, and Ed Donatel needs to do this, needs to do that. Like, you can only do what you can with the personnel that you have, and I'm not giving, I'm not saying that he did what he should have done with the defense, because clearly this is somewhat similar. Even having lost a few faces, but performing much better. But it wasn't just about blitzing. It wasn't just about playing man-to-man coverage, because what Brian Flores has done is he's been able to get these zone pressures where you're lining up a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, but you're dropping some of those guys out, confusing the protection, playing some zone behind it to be able to protect the defenders that just can't play man-to-man all day. You just don't have those kind of guys. They're capable of, and putting them in a position to succeed has been the key for Brian Flores in working with that defense.
Vikings going up to Green Bay this week. Robert, what do you remember about your first trip to Lambeau?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I don't think it was a good one. It was 94. I think it was the first game of the year. Yeah, it was. It was the first game of the year in 94. And I had torn my ACL in December the previous year. And didn't play in Lambeau the year before. I think they were still going back and forth. I think the game was in Milwaukee, but I didn't play in the game because I had torn my ACL. And they decided not to dress me. So it was a pretty poor memory for me. And then, I played mostly special teams in 94 as Terry Allen was coming back from an ACL. But in 90, I think it was in 95, had a good game up there. 96, and you're not going to see this anymore, for obvious reasons. But I remember seeing myself hung in effigy up there in Green Bay.
Well, that means. Hey, that means you're on their radar. That's that says you're kicking their ass.
I was like, this is really cool. They hate me enough to, hang me in the stands. Like that was pretty cool. And it was also the first time that I met Terry Bradshaw up there. I grew up a Steelers fan in Cleveland, of course. But the first time that Fox did a game up there and Terry Bradshaw was on the desk, I remember running over like a little kid after the game and like, oh man, Terry, big fan, blah, blah, blah. So some fond memories. And it was always my favorite place to play because biggest rivalry, hostile environment, fans are right on top of you. And there's just nothing like going in an environment like that and shutting the crowd up.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps, man. That's really great. Where are you off to this weekend?
Carolina. So we've got the Texans at the Panthers this weekend.
Oh, well, the Texans, that Stroud kid's looking good, man.
Yeah, we've had him a couple of times this year already. So, yeah.
And he's where'd he play? Miami of Ohio, right?
Well, he certainly didn't play the place where that kicker for the 49ers played.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Who's left on that staff after this controversy.
It's all smoke and mirrors and cheating. Whatever.
Well, yeah, but you're not allowed to use those things.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Well, as I've said for years, I cheer for Michigan and I cheer against Harbaugh. So I guess maybe I'll feel vindicated. I get it all in once. Robert, it's always our pleasure, brother. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me on, guys. Take it easy.
Man, I mean, that literally down both arms goosebumps when he goes, I loved going into Lambeau and shutting those people up. I mean, that just to be able to, he actually did that. Like, you score a touchdown, you look up there, what about that? That's so badass.
Yeah, it is going to be. We'll get the Border of the Battle Cheeseheads thing going, I'm sure, this week as well from Tony also.
I'm all in. I'm ready to just be just a total skull idiot. Let's piss some people off.
Oh, yeah. Well, no better way to piss them off than is with a win on their home turf.
That's a fact.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Bob Seger, Old Time Rock and Roll. That song, recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Very famous Fame Studios. Seger went through there one day in the late 70s, hanging out in the studio with some of the guys down there, very famous recording town. And he heard that song, that exact version of the song with another guy singing it. The songwriter in Muscle Shoals had cut it as a demo. And he said, man, I love that song. I'd like to take a pass at it. And they said, yeah, why don't you sing it? And he sang it. And then he brought it back to Detroit, got his band in the room and said, we're going to cut this song. And his band couldn't quite get the vibe he liked. And he went back and called the guys in Alabama and said, how about if I just use the version you guys did and I'll sing that? And they said, sure. And then, of course, the songwriter said, well, you should take credit for, I'll give you a writer's share because you're going to put it on your album and it would just sit here otherwise. And Bob had changed a few of the words, and Seger said, no, that's fine, man. It's your song. I'll just sing it. And then he put it on his album. And it's been licensed countless times since, and Bob never got a dime for it.
Oh, Bob. That's why he's living in a double wide these days.
I think he's doing actually okay without it. But, I mean, it's just one of those things, he looks back, just a few years later, Risky Business is out, and he's like, huh.
Right.
Yeah, I probably should have put my name on that one. Huh.
The one on the Teacher's soundtrack. What was that? Whatever. But, those Swampers down there in Muscle Shoals, they ended up on a few tunes, didn't they?
Oh, my God. Just countless songs. It's a great area. And I just went there a couple years ago for the first time ever. For some reason, I'd never been in that area. Muscle Shoals, Florence. It's little 4 cities there in Alabama. That's where the Drive-By Truckers, if you're familiar with that band,
sure.
Started. Patterson Hood, the leader of that band. His dad, David Hood, is the Swampers bassist, legendary session bass player.
Wow.
Jason Isbell's from there, Florence, Alabama. A lot of tremendous talent. Guy named Gary Nichols. A lot of great talent down there, and it's just this sleepy little town in northern Alabama for whatever reason. Some recording studios were built, and it's been great ever since. Brown Sugar recorded there.
Yes.
Bob Dylan, Slow Train Coming, 1 million albums. Everybody knows.
Paul Simon did an entire album down there. Aretha Franklin really kind of started it all in her career, transitioning to the, the Queen of Soul that she ended up being there in Muscle Shoals. There's just a great documentary that lays it all out for you called Muscle Shoals.
Does
and
the
I
job.
highly recommend everybody kick it off. And, 2 studios down there, that Fame Studios, and it was just a guy named Rich Hall that just wanted to start making records. They say it's in the mud down there, the Alabama mud.
I think Weird Al has his whole career to thank because of Muscle Shoals.
Is that true?
That's not true.
The Muscle Shoals accordion scene.
It would be cool.
The sub of all subcultures.
Accordion scene.
We mentioned a Portuguese guy by the name of Bobby a few months ago on this show, and it's now our sad duty to inform you Bobby's no longer with us. Who is Bobby? The oldest dog on the planet, a 31-year-old herding dog. Verified by the Guinness Book, a dog who is 31 years old has passed away. That is 217 in dog years.
Wow. Yeah, that's smoking it to the butt right there.
That is a guy getting after it. 31 years, 165 days old. He died on Saturday. He is a pure breed Rafeiro do Alentejo, a breed of Portuguese dog. Average life expectancy 10 to 14 years. Bobby made it 31. His owner said he's never been put on a leash. He eats what we eat every day, every meal. He's a part of the family. 31 years. Good run for Bobby.
Not bad at all. He added that was lots of love, good food, and fresh air. May we all live so well as Bobby.
Man, no kidding. I remember seeing a giant sea tortoise at a venue on Long Island called Jones Beach. It had washed up dead in 1995. Interestingly enough, it was the day Jerry Garcia died, and Terrapin Station and all the deadheads were like, "It's Jerry's spirit," and I'm like, "Stop, it's not."
No.
But
You don't know.
The Coast Guard or Animal Control, there was a few people. This thing, I mean, it was a giant sea tortoise. And so several authorities were on hand to bring him out of the water and then go get him. And, they were going to go take him to the animal place where you would dissect, or I don't know, just look into it, see. But the word on the street was they were saying at the time he's at least 250 years old.
Wow.
At least. And I'm thinking, that guy predates George Washington. At the time, I was like, he was around when all that happened. He was swimming in these very waters.
Oh, man.
And he was still right there. Kind of crazy to think about.
It is. We did a story a couple of years ago. Some kid ordered off Amazon, like a 3-year-old kid. Just got on and was able to figure out mom's Amazon on her phone and ordered a tortoise, and it was a tortoise that was expected to live 150 years. So, in other words, mom's going to be taking care of a tortoise her entire life.
Good investment.
Yeah, take it with you, kiddo.
These things happen. We just spoke, if you missed it, Robert Smith was with us at the top of the hour talking about the Viking season. We're all feeling pretty good around here. I am being crushed via text message. I wrote a book a few years ago called Hard to Handle, The Life and Death of the Black Crowes. My buddy Steve Hyden, a great music writer. I've been a fan of his work for years, and we got to know each other 10 years ago. He helped me with the book, and he also is a resident of the Twin Cities. He is also a Wisconsin native and a cheesehead from birth. And I am letting him know. I just told the tattoos are coming this week. I'm going to have skull across both arms. And just to wind him up, I'm obsessed. I'm texting him about my obsession with the Vikings now. Great. And he's just going to lose sleep all week about it. I love it.
We talk about the border battle. It's borderline rivalry because I have friends, cheeseheads, and we've already started trash talking. And like you, I grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Being born in Pennsylvania, growing up in South Dakota, but you don't live here for 30 years and not get sucked into this Vikings thing. And the border battle is always my favorite every year, these two games. And of course you want to beat them, but it gets contentious. There are times where I've not spoken to them for months just because it crossed the line. It goes there, you know.
I started today's text with all capital letters, one letter per text, SKOL in a row. And he immediately, oh, man, don't get sucked into this. It won't end well. I can't believe it. You're jumping ship for the Vikings. He's just going. Historically disappointing team. And then I said, I'm just trying. And he goes, well, it's working. The Vikings are actually going to clobber us. I said, now he's trying to set himself up, but thinking that Jordan Love's going to pull a rabbit out of the hat. No, I think that the Vikings are going to go, what did the Vikings used to do? Invade your town, leave you hurting? That's what's going to happen in Green Bay this week.
Pillage.
There's going to be some pillaging going on. Rage and pillage, I'll say, for the modern era.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, you want to get this one, right? Now you've got 3 in a row, and you're headed to Atlanta. So, but yeah, this is a big game. I mean, this was the kind of season where, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we're like, well, as long as we beat the Pack at least once, twice would be the next best thing to a Super Bowl win. Last night we had Coach O'Connell talking about the Vikings fans. Of course, they're going to get the opposite, the flip coin of that, right up in Lambeau as well. But here he is last night talking about the home field advantage. I think is even better, and I hear from people that have been to U.S. Bank Stadium these last couple of seasons, it's much better than the Metrodome.
I just want to start out and commend our fans. I thought this building was unbelievable tonight. Our fans never cease to amaze me how they can transform this building into such an unbelievable home field advantage, and we had talked a lot about trying to play the type of performance that they deserved.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a much more exciting building. People talked about the Homerdome, or the Metrodome, rather, Homerdome when the Twins played there, and how loud it would get. But, I mean,
crazy.
You can't not walk into U.S. Bank Stadium and not just feel super excited. It's just such a beautiful
In the
awesome
post-interview, how about that top 10 medallion that Jay Jefferson put around Kirk's neck? Did you guys see that?
Funny.
Yeah,
He was so uncomfortable. He's like, it's kind of flashy, and I'm sorry.
I tell you how I know the Packers don't have it figured out yet. Okay, now granted, the Vikings have embraced the band Creed. Okay, not my favorite, but it's working. If you have a quarterback named Jordan Love, you should be blasting Arthur Lee's Love over that PA. You know what I mean? A little 7 and 7 is some great psychedelic rock from the late 60s. But no, what's Jordan Love listening to? No one knows, no one cares.
I agree.
Come on, man. You got the name Love in your name. Get on the Arthur Lee tip, man. He was a badass. All right, that's looking ahead. We have the rest of the week to do that. For right now, it's time to look back with a history lesson.
I like sports.
I like sports.
You think I'm crazy, but I know music.
And who are you?
Gorman. And I'm going to teach you a lesson that you're never going to forget.
On this day in 1996, October 24th, the Atlanta Braves played their final game at the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. They moved the following season to what became Turner Field. It was the Olympic Stadium. The 1996 Summer Olympics held in Atlanta. They built a stadium for the track and field. You know, it's like an oval track from track and field. We've all seen this. The stadium, it looked like a football stadium, if you will, the oval shape. And then as soon as the Olympics ended, by design, the stadium was reconfigured for baseball. It was like a miracle of modern design and engineering. The Braves started the season, the following season. Like the Olympics ended in like late July. Yeah. And by March, Turner Field was ready. It looked like it had never been anything but a baseball stadium. The Braves were given basically a stadium from the IOC. So they raised their ticket prices 35%.
Thank you very much.
God, that's when I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm going back to the Orioles. Screw you guys.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.